What is a server? So that is the topic of this video. Now, a server is basically a dedicated computer that provides services on behalf of clients, such as ordinary desktop computers or workstations. So it's a centralized machine where multiple clients connect to, either over the internet or in a local area network, and they connect to a server for a specific service. So for example, that service could be to retrieve a website, to access data or email, and so on. Now, a server could be dedicated to handle one of these services only, where you would have one server dedicated for a website, one server for data storage, and a server for email. And this model is what larger organizations use. Or you can also set up a server to handle each of these services on the same machine, which is what typically happens in smaller organizations. So depending upon which setup is used, it all depends on the needs of an organization. Now, when people talk about a server, generally they are referring to a powerful, centralized computer that clients connect to over a network, and they would be correct on that. However, a server is not just a physical computer. A server is actually a role that a computer takes, because any ordinary desktop computer can be set up as a server, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a powerful computer. So for example, you can set up a network in your home where you can have an ordinary desktop computer serve as a file server. The computer would have those files in a shared folder, and then other computers can connect to it to access those files. Or you can also use a desktop computer to serve as a web server, where you would install the website data on that computer, and then the other computers can connect to it and retrieve the web page. However, desktop computers do have their limitations because they are not designed to handle a large workload, and they can't handle a lot of incoming connections from users. And this is not only because of their inferior hardware, but it's also because of software, because desktop operating systems are only able to handle a limited amount of concurrent connections. Now, servers need to be up and running 24/7 because they are vital to an organization. And if a server does go down, then that could jeopardize a business or an organization. So this is why servers need to be more reliable. They need to be built with robust hardware that's able to run non-stop with little to no downtime. So for example, a desktop would use a processor that's designed, obviously, for desktops, such as the Intel Core series processors. And a server would use a processor designed for servers, such as the Intel Xeon processor. A server processor needs to be fast and have the ability to perform a lot of tasks simultaneously. Now, both of these processors are powerful, but there are some differences. So for example, Xeon processors support a multi-processing environment. So they are designed to work with other processors, which means you can put 2 or more Xeon processors on a motherboard designed for servers, which is what a lot of servers need to handle a large workload. But desktop processors do not support this. They are only designed to work by themselves and not with other processors. And another difference is that Xeon processors support ECC RAM, which is error code correcting memory. And this type of memory is what's mainly used in servers. Now, servers need to be up and running at all times, and memory errors could bring down a server. And what ECC does is that it detects if the data was correctly processed by the RAM module, and it makes a correction if it needs to prevent memory errors. So thank you everyone for watching this video on servers and the difference between servers and desktop computers. Please subscribe, and thank you for watching.